Could be a Wi-Fi issue. Let's see what's going on over there.
Looks okay.
I'm not seeing. Paused. All right. I think we're good to go. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So we're in a seated position. We're breathing. From that place of just watching that breath, we're moving towards the Ujjayi or ocean breath. Go-to breath in many flow practices. A slight constriction at the base of the throat to add a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice, letting this sound and feel be a focus for your practice. Always coming back to the sound and feel of your breath. To this Ujjayi breath, this more victorious breath. I'm invite you to find Jiva Bandha. Tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, trying to keep that connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, let's switch the cross of the legs. One of my favorite breaths, it's a good summer breath, it's a cooling breath, it's a Satali breath, making an O with the lips, and if you're one of the 80% of the people in the world that can curl the tongue doing so, if you're the 20% that can't, no big deal, just make that O with the lips. And we breathe in through the mouth, one of the few yoga breaths where we do that, almost like you're sipping air through a straw. Let's do 6 of those. So breathing in, and closing the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Satali breath in through the mouth, closing the lips out through the nose. Satali breath in, out through the nose. Satali breath in, out through the nose. 2 more to go, breathing in, breathing out. The last one, breathing in, breathing out. And then a big breath in through both nostrils. Big breath out through both nostrils. From this cool, relaxed place, let's come off of our cross-legged sit. And let's find an all-fours position on the mat or floor. I'll go sideways, Jojo will stay just like that. One of my favorite exercises is this cat-dog combo. Before we start though, we want to ground down very seriously through the palms of our hands. So grounding down through the base of each finger, and then drawing the center of the palm up towards the shoulders as we draw the energy up from the floor. We always want to keep that. That's good for our wrists. Keeping this, starting our cat-dog combo, breathing in, lifting chin and tail. Breathing out, tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin as we round it in. And let's do 6 of these. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Couple more. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Let's throw child's pose into the mix. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. Big toes touch sits bones back towards the heels as we round the spine. And let's do 6 of these. Breathing in, coming up center. Exhaling, drawing it back. Josephine, you keep going like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. And let's put our soundtrack on. And again, if this isn't quite right, tell me through the comment section. And let's do one more. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, rounding it back. Let's add on. We'll take it side to side. Breathing in, lifting it up. And then taking it back to a heel. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling back to the other heel. 2 more times each side. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it back. 1 more time each side. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's throw a figure 8 into the mix. Breathing in, coming up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Keep the hips low, finding that other heel. Up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips in, back to first heel. 2 more times this direction, breathing in. And breathing out. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Now let's switch that figure eight other way. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out. And then coming back to an all fours position, feet hip width apart. Aim out here, circling the hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. One more thing in an all fours position as we trace a figure eight with our hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Feels so good. Back to center. Let's walk the hands just a little bit front, wrists in front of the elbows, elbows in front of shoulders, solidly grounding down through those hands. We'll get to a down dog with our cat-dog combo. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. And then tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin, tailbone, high, high, high. And then finding neutral spine as you push into the hands and stretch those heels down. As we hold this first down dog of the practice, I'll invite you to bend one leg deeply as you ground down to the opposite heel. And then finding that same stretch on the second side. And then freely walking the dog back and forth between the sides, just stretching it out. Seeing how your bodies feel tonight. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. Awesome. Hopefully we have some viewers here. Hopefully we're live. It looks like we're okay. From this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep forward. On the tail end of a breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling full. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. I'll allow you to bring hands to heart. A light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin as we take our attention back inward. And then hands by our side. Let's work Surya Namaskar C tonight. And it really is just a long standing pose sequence. And it's one you're familiar with. We're just going to skip the more simple stuff. And we'll be able to sneak in another longer standing pose sequence a little later on. So inhaling, arms up and over the head. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. If you know vinyasa, feeling free to find chaturanga, the push-up. Inhaling into up dog and then back to down dog. We're always feeling free. Just skip that. We do a lot of push-ups in yoga. Sometimes our shoulders don't need that many push-ups. So listening to your shoulders and respecting what your shoulders say to you tonight. From our down dog shape, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. Now stacking the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. I'll allow you to look under the armpit, trying to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that right foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, finding our warrior one, arms up and over the head. In our warrior one, I'll invite you to go longer in the stance as we bring hands back to the hips, shifting weight onto the front foot as we scoot that back foot back. From here, we can use our hands to square our shoulders front, also reminding those shoulders to relax onto the back. From here, finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then finding that tray in front. From here, straightening front leg without locking knee. Inhaling as we gather energy into our center of balance. Exhale. Let's do 6 of these. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway done. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more for good measure. Breathing in. Breathing out now, holding this letter W shape. We can bring the elbows back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers to keep your hands supple. From here, let's turn Warrior 1 into Warrior 2. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips. We can kick that back foot in just a tad for heel to arch alignment. And then one long arm. Looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. I'll go sideways, you stay just as you are. From here, let's paint rainbows. Palm faces back, breathing in. Exhaling Warrior 2. So again, being sure not to lock that front knee, keeping it loose, keeping it liquid. Let's do 6 of these. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one coming up, breathing in, breathing out, Warrior 2. From here, moving towards our triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease as we lengthen our rib. Grounding bottom hand down either on shin, thigh. If you do choose the knee, it does kind of fit. Make sure the knee pushes into the hand as much as the hand pushes into the knee. We don't want to hyperextend that knee. From here, we can use that top hand to set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past those top fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. As you hold the shape, 3 or 4 breaths, with every in-breath gathering energy in your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. Every out-breath sending energy out through both arms, both legs, both ends of the spine. Exploring that lateral top line. I'll invite you to exhale that top hand front as we turn heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. Let's do 6 of these. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Halfway done. Exhaling. Inhaling. Last 2. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Now let's frame our head with both hands. Let's not twist the torso at all. Push-ups for our sideways as we breathe 2 hands up and exhale it over. 2 hands up, exhale it over. 2 hands up, exhale it over. Halfway down, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, and then holding. And again, I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping our hands supple. From here, either coming back to your triangle or playing with your half moon as hand finds the hip. We step the back foot in, setting our base, right hand well off to the right. You could always narrow that if you want to challenge your balance, but I like a nice foundation so I can get a little bigger in the shape. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch hand high to the sky. Either holding your half moon, or on an exhale, make yourself small. On the inhale, make yourself tall. And let's do 6 of these. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Last one, we'll exhale. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Inhale. Exhale, full breath. And then inhale it up. If you've never looked up, spinning your face to look up. And then hand finds the hip. We can land that back foot lightly as we come back to our Warrior 2 shape. And then I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And then back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time, find your breath. That was a fast sequence. So let's hold the down dog as we come back to a more even breath. Watching that breath as it flows in and out, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, we'll move towards our second side. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. I'll invite you to look under the armpit, trying to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, finding our Warrior 1, arms up and over the head. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as we shift weight onto the front foot to go longer in our stance. And then finding that tray in front, breathing in and breathing out. We'll do 6. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway done. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more to go. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, and let's hold this letter W shape as we bring the elbows back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping those hands supple. You might make fists, just do whatever feels right and good for you. Turning warrior 1 into warrior 2. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips. We might kick that back foot in just a tad for heel to arch alignment. Woo! And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Again, let me go sideways. You stay just as you are. We'll paint 6 rainbows. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. Inhale. Exhale. Last 1. Inhale. Exhaling, warrior 2. And now finding Trikonasana, the triangle, thumb and forefinger, find crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease as we lengthen those ribs. And then bringing hand on shin or thigh, and if you do choose the knee, make sure the knee pushes into the hand as hard as the hand pushes into the knee. Again, we don't want to hyperextend that knee. Top hand can set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky, with that mixture of effort and ease. As we hold the triangle 3 or 4 breaths, with every in-breath gathering energy in your center of balance. With every out-breath, making yourself bigger in space from the inside as we send that energy out through the arms, the legs, and both ends of the spine. When we connect with the breath, we connect with the innate pulsation of the universe, at least on this human level that we live in. Now exploring that lateral top line. Let me go this way just so I can see the camera here, and so my voice is picked up by the microphone. As we exhale, that top hand front, turning heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin it heart to sky. And we'll do 6, exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. 1 more to go. Exhaling and inhaling. Now 2 hands frame the head. Pure side motion here, no twist to the torso as we exhale ourselves over and then back up. Exhale it over and then back up. Exhale it over and then back up. Halfway done. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Last one. Exhale and hold. And I'll allow you to wiggle those fingers, keeping your hands supple. And then either back to our triangle or finding your half moon as you bring that left foot, left hand off to the left. Again, take your time, set your base. Lifting that back leg. Top hand can set that shoulder. You can stretch hand high. Again, with every in-breath, gathering energy in your center of balance. With every out-breath, making yourselves bigger in space. And this is a hard one. It's not fair if I just watch Josephine do it. So we're gonna, I like this one too. We're gonna exhale it small. You might make a fist with the hand. Inhaling, lifting it up tall. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Halfway done. Exhale and inhale. Last 2. Exhale, inhale, exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. 1 more breath. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. And then inhale it up. I'll invite you to spin your face up to the sky. And then hand finds the hip. We land back foot lightly, finding our warrior 2 shape. And from warrior 2 shape, a big windmill of the arms as you find low lunge. And then back to down dog. As you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. And again, if the sound is weird, tell me, please. I want your yoga experience to be enjoyable. And part of that is hearing my voice. And if the music's interfering with that, I'd rather not have music or make another choice as to what our music is. From our down dog shape, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe you try a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folded. On the inhale, hands over head pose. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do another extended standing pose sequence. A lot of similar stuff. Let's call this one Surya Namaskar D.
Oh, creative.
We go all the way to Z.
Someone knows the alphabet.
We'll start with our chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. From here, rising on up, we'll invite you to find a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog, as you will, either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa. You want to flip the dog, Josephine?
No.
No, okay. We'll do a dragon dog instead. And again, this is hard, I'll practice with you, but let me go sideways here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky. Now bringing nose to knee to nose, shoulders over wrists, exhaling, and inhale it up. Couple more times, exhale it front, inhale it up. Let's hold this next one, exhale it front, inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more breath. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale. And on that next exhale, let's try to get that foot as far front as we can as we spin the back heel down. Finding warrior one prep. Yeah, hands on hips first. Yeah, a little different sequence this time. From here, let's go longer in our stance. Squaring our shoulders, finding that clasp of the fingers behind the head, open heart, open throat, and now stretching those hands high. Now let's play with the shoulders a little bit. I like this one. So on the inhale, we just bring the shoulders up to the ears. On the exhale, just let them drop. Now let's do 6 of these. Here's 4. Here's 5. Here's 6. And then from here, let's make that letter W shape. Let's pretend like we're weightlifters here as we bring arms up and then back to letter W. Now let's do 6 of these. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Halfway down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, and then exhaling, finding this letter W. Let's hold. Let's wiggle those fingers. And one more time. We'll turn warrior 1 into warrior 2 as hands find the heart. We open up the hips. We can narrow the stance just a tad. And then one long arm. From here, moving towards extended side angle, let me go sideways. You stay just as you are. As we bring back hand to hip, we ground forearm on top of thigh. 3 steps on the top arm. We can let it hang down towards the floor. Now we're going to stretch that hand away so it's perpendicular to the body, more space in that shoulder, keeping that sense of space as we stretch that arm long to the sky. From here, let's circle the hand back as we trace it with our eyes. Exhaling, letting yourself soften. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway down this direction. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one this direction. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhaling, let's switch. As we exhale, we flex. As we inhale, we extend. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, last 3, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, last 1, exhale, inhale, and hold for a breath. Lots of space between that back foot and those top fingers. Breathing into that top line. Feel the expansion of your ribs. Now moving towards Ardha Chandra Chapasana, the bound foot version of the half moon. As hand finds the hip, we step the back foot in, finding your base. I'll suggest catching the foot from the small place as we reach back and catch the foot. And then kicking the foot into the hands. As maybe we look up. If that's too much, look off to the side or look down. As you kick the foot into the hand, feel it deepening through the back of the heart. And always uneaseful quality to your breath, despite the effort of the action. From a bound back foot, we can release the foot, long back leg. Hand finds the hip, landing that back foot lightly as we find our warrior two. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow, whatever that flow is. Great thing about a home class is you might not be alone, but many of us probably are. You can do whatever you want, and even if someone else is with you. I'm going to say something, F them. It's still your practice. From here, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're going to find a three-legged dog, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now finding that dragon dog, knee to nose, nose to knee. Inhale it up. Exhale it front. Inhale it up. Exhale it front and hold. Inhale. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more breath. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, try to get the foot right between the hands. As we spin that back heel down, we can bring hands to hips for our warrior one breath. Longer in the stance if that's what your body wants today. Heel to heel alignment for warrior one. Squaring the shoulders, switching the clasp of the fingers, pressing head into hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching hands high. And let's do that same shoulder exercise. And this will be one, you don't have to do it in the warrior one stance. You can do this at your desk. You can do it behind the wheel of a car, at a red light, or if you're parked. As we inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, just let them drop. Halfway down. Last one. And then keeping those shoulders relaxed as we find this letter W shape. And let's pretend like we're weightlifters here as we inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Last two. Inhale up. Exhale back. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale back. Now holding the letter W as we wiggle those fingers. Again, you might make fists with your hands, whatever feels right and good. If you've been on a keyboard all day, this is a nice way to liberate those fingers. From here, hands find the heart. As we open up the hips, we kick the back foot in for our warrior two shape. And let me go sideways here. Moving towards extended side angle. As back hand finds the hip, we ground forearm on top of the thigh. 3 steps on the top arm, we let it just hang down towards the floor. Let me switch my orientation so I can see the screen. Just let any tension drain down through the fingers into the floor. From here, we'll stretch hand away, more space in the shoulder. Keeping that sense of space, we'll stretch that hand front. And then with the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, halfway down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale, inhale into extension, taking it the other way, exhaling and inhaling, exhaling and inhaling, exhaling and inhaling, halfway down, exhaling and inhaling, exhaling and inhaling. Last one, exhaling and inhaling and holding as you push into that back foot, stretching those fingers front, finding more space between each rib and breathing into that space. From here, moving towards Ardha Chandra Chapasana. As hand finds the hip, we scoot the back foot in. Left hand off to the left. And I'll suggest grabbing that foot from the small place as we reach back to catch the foot. And then any amount. Making it tall as we kick the foot into the hand, opening our heart up to the sky. As we hold the shape, as you kick the foot into the hand, feel that deepening through the back of the heart. This is a hard pose, keeping an easeful quality to your breath. As goes the breath, so goes the mind. From here, easily releasing the back foot, landing that back foot low, coming back to our warrior two. And then from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow. That's a strenuous sequence, so feeling free to catch your breath. You can't hear me. All right, I'm going to turn the music off. Just make sure the microphone is working here. Hello. I'm seeing feedback. Hello, hello, hello. Definitely I'm getting some input. Jackie, can you hear me now? I'm the Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? If you can't, please tell me and I'll try to make some other corrections. But it looks like there should be some sound. And again, sometimes the music throws things off. So it was an experiment, and I'd rather not work that experiment. From our down dog shape, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of your breath. Looking between your hands as you step, or take a step front, or jump front. Take a breath to fine line. Exhaling, fold it. On the inhale, let's come back to our chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. And then hands by our side. From here, let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. I do this one every morning, just so you know. I like it because it's easy and it feels really good. Hands support the back of the hips, fingers face down. We just circle our hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to pretend we have an extra set of hands, keeping our hips stable. Real hands. I like this bird beak for our hands. I'll show it to you. It looks like that. And it's a good way to focus the energy of the hands. So you got 4 fingers, and they touch the tip of the thumb. I'll suggest bringing your bird beaks to the top of the shoulders. Hips stay stable as we rotate for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Back to center. Arms in the air like you either do or don't care. We'll take shoulders one way, hips go the other for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And hands by our side. You have some space side to side, Josephine?
Sure.
Okay. One of my favorite exercises, shooting the hawk to both sides. We get it from the Qigong practice. Feet right together. We've got left arm over the heart, right arm on top. We're going to shift weight onto the right foot. We're going to step out with the left. We're going to turn at the waist. We're going to push out with the left and pull back with the right as if we're firing a bow and arrow. Right arm crosses over the heart. Left arm crosses on top. We step back to center. Weight on the left foot. We step out with the right. We turn at the waist. We push out and pull back. We inhale through center. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale. Halfway done. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more each way. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then back to center. And down. And let's do one more Qigong exercise here. We'll push one hand up, one hand down. We push up, or push down with the right. We push up with the left. Inhaling. Exhale through center. Other side. Halfway down. One more each way. And then hands by our side. Let's work through a rotated standing sequence. Let's start with a chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. From here, let's take it a little lower. Now left hand grounds left hip. Let's reach for the front of the room. And let's start with the wrist and slide to the elbow as we find chair twist. Either staying here, hand on hip, or finding your prayer hands, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past that top elbow, with a mixture of effort and ease. I'll invite you to squeeze the knees together. One knee's going to want to come front. Try to keep the knees even, and that's going to keep your hips stabilized so you get a little more twist in the torso. From chair twist, let an inhale bring you center, stay low. Now right hand grounds right hip as we reach. We start with the wrist, we slide to the elbow, and I'll suggest prayer hands, either looking down off to the side or up past that top elbow with that mixture of effort and ease. Let me make one more adjustment on the mic here. I'm going to switch it to directional, and we'll see if that makes a difference. And again, feel free to tell me. I really appreciate the feedback. From chair twist to the right, let an inhale bring you center as you're bursting out of a pool of water, a little back bend at the top, and on the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Again, let your breath make the call. From here, let's play with that dragon dog. Let's add some twisting action. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Let's bring right to right. So right knee towards right elbow, and then inhale it up. Finding the twist, exhaling right to left, and then back up. Now let's bring that knee center and hold. Exhaling, inhale and hold. Exhaling, inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, we're going to bring it right between the hands. As we spin the back heel down, I'll suggest hands find the hips for Warrior One Prep. In Warrior One Prep, if appropriate, longer in the stance, squaring the shoulders, opening up fourth and fifth chakra. And then this time, let's bring right hand to right hip. Let's find length on the left side, reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and then reaching out. Halfway down. Reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and reaching out. Last one here, reaching up, and then reach. We can start with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow, and then I'll suggest prayer hands, either looking down off to the side or up past that top elbow with that mixture of effort and ease. Long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. Now let's come out of our twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Big step in, big angle in the back foot as we straighten the front leg without locking the knee. Finding our Parsvottanasana. Shoulders draw up and back towards the hips as we relax the neck and heavy the head. As we hold our Parsvottanasana, inviting more prana, more life force into our hips as we move between Warrior One hips and Warrior Two hips. So it's not really a side-to-side motion. We're just turning hips face front, hips face side. So I'll invite you just to do that at your own pace. Hips side, hips front. And if you did want to add a little side-to-side, it's not a crime. Just listening to your hips and respecting what your hips have to say. Now let's move towards a revolved triangle as we square hips towards the front leg. Right hand comes to the sacrum, the palm faces up as if you're holding water. Walking the left hand in, either working big toe or crossing wrist over ankle, lengthening through both side waists as we turn our heart towards the straight front leg, either keeping hand on the sacrum, setting the shoulder, or stretching hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past those top fingers, with that mixture of effort and ease. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding a full breath in, a full breath out. Coming back to that full body breath, air to the base of the belly, top of chest, filling up each sideways, filling up both front and back planes of your body. Feeling free to hold your revolved triangle. Wonderful, wonderful stretch, particularly for the hip of that front leg. If you did want to take it into reverse half moon, this is hard, I'll demo along with. We bring hand back to the sacrum. We spin the back heel up. We walk that left hand forward. We lift that back leg, turning our heart to face a standing leg. We can set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past those top fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Despite the balance, despite the twist, still finding a full body breath. Coming down with grace and control as hand comes back to the sacrum, back foot low, hands frame the front foot as we find low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Yeah, there you go.
Am I not doing it the other times?
I didn't know if you were going to hold it. So I love to tuck the toes, and I also like to unfurl the foot. So tips of toes, tops of toes, and it just kind of stretches your ankle out in both directions as you flex the foot and then extend the foot. From here, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog, high on the right toes. Now finding your dragon dog as we bring left to left, and then inhale it up. Finding the twist as we bring left to right, and inhale it up. Exhale, or bringing it center, inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, bringing left foot through as we bring hands to hips, lining up the heels for our Warrior One foot alignment. From here, relaxing and squaring the shoulders, opening up fourth and fifth chakra as we press the head into the hands, elbows wide, 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 and then hand finds the left hip. That's your front leg. From here, we'll find length on the far side, reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and then reaching out. Halfway done, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. That front leg is bent. We'll find our twist. We start with the wrist. We slide to the elbow. Finding your prayer hands if appropriate, either looking down off to the side or up past that top elbow with that mixture of effort and ease. The Sanskrit words are stira for effort, sukha for ease. You can remember stira, effort, is the stirring it up energy. The sukha, the sugary energy, is the relaxation, easeful energy. One more breath here. From our twist, let's come out easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Big step in as we line up the heels. Big angle on the back foot, I'll say about 60 degrees here. And then we straighten that front leg without locking the knee. Relax neck, heavy head as we draw the shoulders up to the hips. Initially holding the pose of stillness, just seeing where your hamstring is tonight. And then I'll invite you to invite more prana, more life force into your hips. And this is turning, not rocking side to side, it's more just squaring hips front and back. So it's just there. Having said that, if you did add a little swing or a little sway, awesome. Just listening to your hips and giving your hips exactly what they want tonight. Now coming back center, the hips square front as we move towards our revolved triangle. We bring left hand to the back of the sacrum, the palm faces up as if we're holding water. We're going to walk the right hand in, either staying on the big toe side. Some of y'all might want to cross the wrist over the ankle. We want to lengthen through both side waists as we turn our heart towards that straight front leg. Top hand can set the shoulder. We can stretch that hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky, with that mixture of sthira and sukha, effort and ease. I find in this revolved triangle, it's really easy to identify the dantian, that center of balance. Everything seems to lead to that place as you breathe in.
It's really hard to keep your sacrum flat, though.
Don't worry about it. So Josephine said it's hard to keep the sacrum flat.
I can't do it.
So you can let your hips play a little bit. But the idea is we want to maximize the twist in the torso. Having said that, if you feel a little more easeful, you can let the hips play.
Oh.
The reason I say try to do that is a lot of times people will not twist the torso and they just drop the hip. So I'm trying to get as much torso rotation, and then you might add the hip a little bit. So, and that's an excellent, excellent question. From here, I don't want to keep you here forever. If you choose, moving towards your revolved half moon, hand comes back to the hip or sacrum. We set our base, turning our heart to face that straight front leg, setting the shoulder, stretching hand high. Nice. So this is a hard pose. And just like the revolved triangle, revolved half moon, I find I can really connect with that center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. From here, coming down with grace and control. As we find our low lunge, thank you, Josephine, for holding that for so long, and then back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or maybe you find a child's pose instead. And then I'll suggest we all find a child's pose. As we ground the knees lightly, sits bones back to the heels, arms in extension, and just letting yourselves be super, super heavy as we rest and relax here on the floor. I'm going to drop the mic down to floor level just to make sure that we are heard. That's the interesting thing about an online class. You've got this whole sound waves thing going on. It's a very natural sound wave thing that happens in a live room, not so much with a microphone over the computer. Keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to walk your hands to one side as you stretch far hip to far heel. Just enjoying a nice stretch in that far hip. And then walking hands through center and finding that side bend in our child's pose the other way. I love this sequence. And then from here, let's walk our hands center. Let's walk our hands in as we bring our feet off to the unfamiliar side. And most of us have that more familiar side. Checking yourself and finding that less familiar side as we find our Tarasana. I love this pose. Almost like bound angle pose, but it's nice and long with the legs. Knees are bent, external rotation. The soles do not connect. From Tarasana, named after the Buddhist goddess of compassion. She has bright green skin, which is awesome. We're going to feed our arms underneath our shins, the palms face down. We can start with neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Some of us will stay at neutral spine depending on how your back feels tonight. Otherwise, you'll start to round the spine. And either keeping ears in line with shoulders or tucking the chin. There's a mantra that goes with this pose, Kurmasana the tortoise. I'll repeat it 3 times. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. And then holding it another 3 or 4 breaths. With every in-breath, finding more space on the inside. With every out-breath, just letting your groin soften into the floor or mat. From here, if you're working neutral spine, just hinging at the hips as we come on up. Those of us that found a rounding spine and a tucked chin, we can roll ourselves up as we unfeed the arms. It is happy hour yoga. Let's do a fun pose as we catch either our ankles and lift our feet, or maybe peace sign fingers catch the big toes as we lift our feet. Balancing on our tailbone, knees are bent. Another option might be to move towards extension as we balance in our tailbone, letting those feet or legs widen out to the side. Now I'm on a nice soft carpet. If you're in a similar shape, you might try this one. Hardwood floor, be mindful. The idea is we want to plump the calves and flex the foot. And we want to land the calves before we land the heels. It looks like this. Okay, there's other ways to do it too. From here, let's find a sundial on each side. As we go to the left, we can use either our left leg or the floor inside the leg to ground the back of the forearm. From here, length on the right side. We want to stay grounded through our right sits bone as we reach for the big toe. We want to try to not collapse, but we don't want to find that twist. It's pure side stretch here as we breathe into that top line of ribs. One more long, slow breath. Now letting your inhale bring you through center, we'll go to the right, either using the right leg as your platform or bringing the back of the forearm inside the leg. Left arm high to the sky, staying grounded through that left sits bone. As we reach. And it's a pure side stretch here. We're not turning our heart to the floor. We're just trying to stretch out those ribs. And just holding it. Now letting an inhale bring you on up. Let's do one more seated pose, very similar to Tadasana, the butterfly, Baddha Konasana, the bound angle pose. A lot of these shapes have different names. This time the feet are a little bit closer in, the soles of the feet connect, at least initially, as we sit tall. Now either keeping the soles of the feet pressed together, or we can use our thumbs to open up the feet as if we're reading a book. Notice how that opens up the hips. We can start to take it forward, hinging at the hips, working with neutral spine as long as you can, and then either staying there depending on how your low back feels, or finding a rounded spine. And then I'll suggest a second circle here as you tuck the chin, but make sure that feels okay on your shoulders. And again, we can use that same mantra 3 times. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. And then holding for another 3 or 4 breaths. With every inhale, finding more space on the inside. With every exhale, letting those groins soften. Now, if you're working neutral spine, hinging at the hips as you come on up. If you've rounded the back and tucked the chin, we can masterfully stack our vertebrae. From here, I'll invite you to use your hands to close your thighs. Long through 2 legs, hands on the floor. Let's just give our legs a little wiggle. And then let's find a long, slow roll on under our backs. Make sure you got some room behind so we can do a full body stretch. I'll go lengthwise. Josephine, you stay just as you are. We can start from our tall spine, our neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. From here, tucking tail and chin as we find C-spine. And as if we're laying pearls onto a cushion, slowly laying each vertebrae down. From here, arms by the ears, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. I'll invite you to point fingers and toes as you breathe in. Exhaling as you flex hands and feet. Breathing in as you point. Exhale as you flex. Breathing in as you point. Exhale as you flex. And then I'll invite you to find your Shavasana as you sweep your hands off by your sides, giving your armpits lots of room to breathe, separating the legs and the thighs have lots of room to breathe. Scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. Tip of the tongue down neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through the nose. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you tonight. We'll be here a couple of minutes in this room. If you're at home, I'll invite you to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. My suggestion would be to hold it for 10, 15 minutes. And at a certain point, you'll feel an immense sense of relaxation, most probably. And that relaxation comes better the more you practice just laying and being still, letting your mind settle, letting your body settle, letting your breath calm down. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I know that these sound really, really good online. So just listen and enjoy. Those of you at home, feeling free to hold your Shavasana. Those of us here in the room, I'll invite you to look at your fingers and toes as you invite more prana into your bodies. Now inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle the wrists and the ankles. A little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips. Intuitive movement as you lay on the floor. And then drawing one knee at a time in towards your heart as your hands catch your shins. And then using your thighs to massage your low belly, your center of balance, as you gently lift and lower your low back and hips. This pose is called Apanasana, a great pose for digestion as we digest the fruits of our practice. From this place, stretching long through an arm, rolling towards that arm, letting it serve as a cushion for the head. As we share a long, slow breath here on the floor, I'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth as you soften your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. Keeping neck relaxed, shoulders soft, eyes soft. I'll invite you to push into your hands as you come up to claim a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, hands find the knees, pulling back with the hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin. Coming back to that place where we started our practice, just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. I invite you to bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me tonight. I believe I picked up a live schedule next Friday at 5:15 on the roof of the Bay Club. If you're a Bay Club member, feel free to come and join me live. I think they have a reservation system. They want to keep everyone safe. So reading the rules and all that and making sure that you do what you need to do. I will still have class 5 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday online, and I'll probably keep the Wednesday 2:30 class. But look at my Facebook page. I usually figure it out Sunday night, and then please practice with me either online or live at the Bay Club. And we might get something going in one of the parks too. So again, it's a fluid situation. And I love yoga, and if you love yoga, even as half as much as I do, please let's practice together.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you, Josephine.
Thanks, Dad.